Hello, everybody. Welcome back on this wonderful Sunday. It's really nice outside today. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. Breeze coming through, feeling good. Welcome to the Quintessential Queens Podcast right here on IntellectualRadio.com. We are an iHeart radio station, and you can tune in YouTube right now live and watch us. Today, I have a guest with me. This young man was with me the last show about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, and we had some real good conversation, because that show actually was the show with the most views that we've had since I started hosting with my co-host Rhea. It was a lot of views on that. So why not bring you back? Why not bring back Chef Dexter, CEO, founder of Healthier Souls LLC, my friend Chef Dex. How you doing, Dex?
Hey D, I'm glad to be back. We did a great job last time. I really enjoyed myself. I got a lot of good feedback, and it's a pleasure being here with you today.
Well, thank you so much. I always appreciate when somebody tell me it's a pleasure to be with me. I love that. Now listen, tell us more about Healthier Souls and what you all are doing for the community and what you're doing for people, and why Healthier Souls? Why should we pick you?
Again, Healthier Souls is a program that was designed to work in the urban communities and target food deserts with our youth and our people. It was something I started back in 2019 during COVID time, where I thought to myself, like, how can I be more of an impact to our community? And it was to use a gift that God gave me to be a culinary student of the game and give back to our people with education. So we focus on doing food demonstrations with food education, and we target high schools, we target grammar schools, and we also we partner with organizations that's existing in the community.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that you've isled yourself with the food deserts, because unfortunately that's still going on in our communities. In black and brown communities, people still have a hard time getting access to the right foods, to the nutritious and healthy foods.
Yes, and we are expanding again. For anybody that's watching, you can contact me at healthiersouls at gmail.com. You can look at my credentials on social media. Healthier Souls, go right to our website, and we have job openings. We have opportunities there for people to grow. We are expanding in many ways. If you also know partners that we can partner with in school systems that you might want to get culinary programs in school, after school, or parenting programs, we're definitely available for those.
I love that. I love that. You're going back to the schools, back to the young folks, and forming those minds and their bodies, and raising them up in the way we want them to go, eating better, feeling better, living better.
Yep, yep, yep.
So let's get right down to it. So the last time we were on the show, we had to cut it short. It was getting good at the end, like most things do. So wonderful at the end, right? Then you got to cut it loose.
Mm-hmm.
We'll pick right back up from where we were. We were talking about relationships and what's missing in the relationship between black men and black women. And
Right.
now I'm going to expand it to just period. What is missing in our intimate relationships with men and women? What's going on here?
One of the things that I was able to, process is dealing, being in prior relationships myself, is relationship misperceptions. I think that every communicating, saying being able to communicate is so vague nowadays. It's so many plethora of things that comes behind communicating, but it needs to be broken down more. And one way we can break that down is like the misperception of of the relationship. What does that look like? I would say that look like us knowing what's being expected from the other person in the relationship. A lot of us do not tell the person that we're with what we are expecting out of them, and we hold them accountable for what they don't know. I feel like that is major when that form of communication is not expressed, because we start building up fences over problems that we have with our significant other that we didn't address. So this is a trickle effect of our relationships starting to dwindle because we are holding grudges and issues with people that we love, that we haven't communicated with them what is needed.
I don't want to hear it, Dex.
And why is that?
Because whatever you don't know, you need to go learn it. That's why.
No, no. Definitely not that case no more.
Whatever you don't know, you need to go learn it. How long is that going to be a crutch? Oh, because I don't know no better. Well, go do better. Go learn better. Go figure some of this out because you don't know how much time you got left.
Ain't that something we should talk about though? Or
Which
should I
part?
already know? Should I already know your interests and likes? And when you change something in a relationship, if you change, hey, you want this to change in a relationship, you want me to be more of a provider, you want to be able to pull back more. If you don't express those things, how am I supposed to know that?
So that's a good point. Change. I've been hearing a lot about this, that you get with a person and midway through, you want them to change. And I hear that a lot actually from women talking about women and men. Like women always want to change a man, women always want to make them this. I don't know what you mean by all of that, really. But when we come to talking about changing people, what are we talking about changing? Are we asking you to be nicer? Are we asking you to be more polite? Am I asking you to step up and take your place as a man in this world? Is that
And
such a bad
why
change?
are you asking me to change? Like that's the bigger question. Because now the whole perception of social media and what people perceive to have and what they're doing and what they advertise has become the new norm in a relationship. So why are you asking a person to change?
Well, if they asking somebody to change for that, that's veering on stupidity. We are not those people. We don't live in their world. S- That's ridiculous.
Well,
Don't act like
it
them.
needs to be a segment. It needs to be a class taught on that then, because at the end of the day, people don't know that. People are continually making decisions based upon what other people have. That's how the world is living right now. Everything is to the grasp of everybody right now, from what they not knowledge wise, what they know, what they perceive to have. And so now they looking at their own situation, and nobody has no patience no more. Nobody has no patience to see things work out. Those are old times. That's what it was told to me, right? From my mom and my dad. People are fighting and telling me, hey, with your mom and dad, that 47-year relationship, that's not common anymore. But I was told by a great pastor at the church. Shouts out to Sam Haygot. He's an amazing leader for me. When I'm confused and I have, um, um, I need to be, I need to talk to somebody about, to get me back on track. He's that person, and he told me that I should never allow no one to change my perception of what greatness is. We shouldn't alter what we know is greatness. If we believe in marriage, if we believe in being patient, if we believe in love, those are the things that we should keep our ground on and don't allow anybody to change that.
So now here we go with what people believe. Like your definition of love might not be my definition.
Okay.
Your definition of patience might not be my definition
And
of
then that's something,
patience.
here we go. We got to talk about that then, right? Those things that need to be expressed. I can't say I got patience with you and you got patience with me, and we just think that both of those are the same things, right? So that means we need to expand more on what patience look like.
So what does that look like? Patience to me look like to me. If I mess up at something, you not beating me down about it, you giving me another opportunity to fix it.
That's right. I will also, to me, patience would look like what you perceive our relationship to look like at the end of the tunnel. You give me time to do that and take my progress right now as insurance of where we're going.
Now, how much time? somebody's supposed to be giving you. People are always saying, stick in there, hang in there, give me more time. How much time? I know women that they've been waiting to get married for like 3, 5, 10, 15. The years just keep going up. Just, well, I'm gonna wait and I think that time business, when you didn't invest it so much, you're not gonna go anyway.
I
It
agree with
becomes
that.
much harder to leave.
I agree with that. And every guy that strings women along in that matter, they wrong for that. Because it's one thing about us guys, right? We know what we want. We know who we
Mm.
want. We know how we want it. We know if we gonna marry you off the beginning. In our mind, we already know when we went on them first 2, 3 days, this is the person I'm gonna be with for the rest of our life. But we suppress those feelings because we don't want to look crazy. Because you can't do that now. You know what I'm saying? You asking a girl out or pouring your heart out in the beginning is psychotic now. You know what I'm saying? That's what considers psychotic to people now.
That's
So now
crazy.
you gotta strategically wait when you know how you feel about somebody to the right time for that to happen. And again, the guys that's doing that is really they don't deserve to have those women. But progression though, if you are with someone that is moving forward, I don't think it should be no question with it. If they moving forward, what is the question? If they are stagnant, then, and I say stagnant, we can say a month, 2 months, 3 months. If you ain't seeing them make no progression, then you should say something. But if your significant other is continuing to press their steps forward, then that should be enough.
I'll tell you honestly what I think about time. The time should be whatever y'all decide. If y'all decide y'all want to be together 5, 10, 15 years with people pressuring you to get married or without the pressure of getting married, then fine. If you decide that maybe you want to get married, I know people that get married in 90 days. They've been dating 90 days, only known each other that long, and they go get married. It's up to them. It's up to the person you're with. It's up to the couple. For me, I'm only giving you a little bit of time. I'm done with that giving you all these years, and I end up where?
Back in the same place.
Not with you. That's what and you end up not with me. After all that time, all these years we done spent together.
Well, I feel like that perception for you and people like me, it changes throughout the years because, okay, I'm 43 now. So I don't have the same patience and the time that I had when I was 23 to wait and see if somebody is going to be the right person for me. No, I don't need 5 years now. I needed 5 years when I was 22, 23 years old. But at 43 years old, I am I'm considered pretty successful. I know where I'm going. God has me in my calling. 2 years.
This is the question I have. What if you're an awful person and they're asking you to change? Don't you think you need to do that? You're a terrible person. You need to change some of your ways. Is anybody ever willing to admit that maybe they got some bad habits and bad behaviors that they need to get rid of?
D, that's so hard. That is so hard. I mean, I've been told things about me, and I feel like I'm very receptive to feedback. But I will say this: it depends on who it's coming from. Okay, because I came up in an environment with a plethora of men that didn't want to see other people succeed. Okay. So I was a young person, 12, 13, 14 years old, fighting off the mentality of grown men who did not want to succeed, want to see me succeed playing sports, football, basketball. And I was unfazed by it. The only reason I was unfazed by it, through the grace of God, is I have my father in my life. But I don't know what his story would be yet if my father wasn't the most important thing to me and my mom wasn't the most important thing to me because I went home to them every single night. So what people said to me didn't bother me because a lot of our community don't go home to nobody.
Ooh, you're giving me goosebumps because that's the truth. Who you come home to and that family and that traditional home, you got a mom, a dad, the child, the siblings.
So check it out.
Those things make a difference.
If my mom and dad been operating in a space for 47 years and their marriage has been highlighted in my life, how receptive can I be towards a person that don't know their father, don't respect their father, don't do the things they supposed to do, and want to tell me that I need to do things different? So it really depends on who the information is coming from, you know? And I have struggled with that. I struggle with people that has not been in my position and had a father their entire life. I'm 43 and I still got my dad. I saw him today.
A
He got
blessing.
Carson right now. You know what I'm saying? Hey Carson, he got my baby right now, him and my mom. So it's hard for me somebody to tell me how not to love or what I need to change and what ain't gonna work when I've seen it for 47 years.
That's important though, right there. The way you grew up,
Mm-hmm.
or when I say you, I'm talking about all of us. The way you grow up and what you learn in your home is who you are when you walk out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever,
Mm-hmm.
whatever way you take the lesson, because it's quite a few men and women who grew up without fathers, and they're okay. They're fine. They're some of the best people, but they have that in the back of their mind that I grew up without my dad. So
100%. And that
I want
that
to make
plays a part
sure.
on how they move. No matter, I've seen it throughout the times of having friends and classmates and co-workers, the ones that have, we see it in sports today. You see the Russell Wilsons of the world. You see how they handle themselves because they've had their parents there their entire time. And that wings back into the misperception part of the piece that we was talking about. When people change their mind, they don't tell people that they changed their mind. They don't tell them.
You talking about in a
In a
relationship?
relationship, they don't say they, and the motives be different. I know guys throughout my life that got married and said they wasn't going to be faithful or they didn't love their woman and a relationship didn't work. Duh. Like, how can, and I can't imagine that. I couldn't imagine giving myself to a woman and I know that I'm not going to give her my all because that's what my father done. So
So
how can you go in and you're gonna be,
it's a lot of people that do that,
and
right?
it never work, like,
They know they're not gonna give you their all. They know it.
and it don't work. And if it do work, right, it's two things that happens. It's either it don't work, right, or they in that relationship and miserable the whole time. And I don't want neither one of those.
I know that's
I
right.
don't want to be miserable. I don't want to feel like I have to be with somebody. Why do that when you can just wait and be very strategic with who you're going to be with so you can be fulfilledness with love all your life. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the goal. The goal is to be loved, and that's another thing, the perception of love. People misquote what love is. People think love is just a feeling. Love is just not the feeling of being in love. Love is an act. It's loyalty. It is choosing a person over and over and over again when they, at that particular time, don't make you happy. Not just the feeling of being in love and flowers and emotion. Love is supersede emotion.
So that goes back to what we were saying, people's definition and perception of those words, those feelings, those act. Everybody don't think love is the same. So to me, it's important that you get with somebody who believes what you believe.
Uh huh.
It's important that you get with somebody who got the same core beliefs that you have, because if you do not, you will be butting heads all day. You will be fighting all the time. You will be, what did you say? It won't be working out. And here's the other thing about stuff not working out and people not talking. Folks be lying. See, when you start lying, we're going to have a huge problem. It's going to be a huge problem because you're not being truthful to the other person and you're not being truthful to you.
That came to my attention throughout the weeks, friends and stuff, about lying and transparency, right? We can dive into the transparency.
Transparency.
So, I was told that, like, from certain people, it's like they on the fence. And it's like transparency is not good. This is what people say. They say transparency is not good. Then some people say transparency is good. So this is my take on it, right? So like in prior situations, I have dealt with people that I was being very transparent with. That's going to look different. My transparency is going to be, hey, guess what? I have this person that has been in my life before you came here, but in the past we dealt with each other before, but there's nothing going on there. Can that transparency be taken in a relationship, or should we not speak on that at all? What's your take on that, D?
My
Yeah, I'm asking you your take.
Honestly, the truth, you don't need to be telling people that right away. I don't think you need to tell people all your business right away. It depends on how you're feeling in your relationship, where you feel it's going, and do you really trust this person with the information? Because people tell you more than that. Like, oh, I just say I'm dating. I ain't got to get all into, oh, this my friend and we used to be together. I'm not doing that.
How would you feel, right? How would you feel if me and you were dating and I had a young lady that was a friend of mine that you've seen over the course of, let's say 3 or 4 months, because she was at an outing or prior engagement and I addressed to you, she was my friend. But then 3 months later, it came out, it was like, hey, well, we used to mess with each other back in the day, but we're not doing that anymore. How would you feel about that?
I would feel angry about it because you said it kind of just like the way you find out is important.
So
if
why
you
don't I
didn't
tell it
tell
in the
me,
beginning then?
I don't think you need to tell people all
So
that in the beginning.
That's a catch-22. So you
don't
say
need
I
to
don't
tell
tell
people that all.
but the feelings is going. If I tell you something that you've seen in your eyes 3 or 4 months ago, and it's like, hey, oh, I used to mess with that woman, you're going to feel some type of way about that regardless. If I tell you in the beginning, I believe in total transparency. And that is, if this person is going to be in my life and we are mature about it, then let me lay this on the table right now so you don't, in your mind, because in your mind, you're going to be like, this person been hanging around for 3, 4 months and they could have been messing around. Why he didn't tell me this in the beginning? I think that perspective is going to be taken 90% of the time to the 10% of the people saying, oh, you should have waited or you shouldn't have said none at all.
I think that things have time. So I preface my statement with, it depends on how you feel your relationship is going. No, day one, I don't want to hear about your exes. First of all, nobody wants to hear about that the first couple of weeks they dating you.
Mhm.
You talk about that down the line when you see, like you said, where the relationship is going. Because first of all, you know in 2 weeks if you're gonna be with this person? Have you made up your mind in 4 days that, oh, I'm finna
What I
marry
just tell
this
you though,
girl?
D? What I
I'm
just
finna
tell you?
marry this girl.
What I tell you?
You said y'all know
On
immediately.
sight.
That don't mean that.
sight.
Okay, so do she feel the same way?
We don't know
And
yet.
it's the same
We
thing
gotta
with
hold
women.
it because
it's the same thing
we
with
gotta
women.
hold it. I don't think so.
It's the same thing with women. Not that we know right away, but I might feel one way and you might feel a different way.
Okay.
You should talk about things before I'm not just throwing all my cards on the table. I might not even be with you next week, but now you know all my business, the dirty laundry and the clean. I don't think that's necessary. And here's the bigger reason. Anybody who's worried about that is going to be worried anyway. If your relationship has just started, you might not have built up a foundation to deal with some of those things. So, building is important. Building a foundation is important. But more importantly, something we hit upon the last time we talked, how are you with you? Are you a healed person? Or are you always walking around thinking men are dogs? Some of them are just worse dogs. Or do you think, it's wonderful men out here? Because it is wonderful men out here. You have to be healed within yourself. So where did that mistrust come from? Where did that not trust in your husband, your boyfriend, or anybody really? People who don't trust people, it extends beyond their relationships. They just don't trust. Why? Some trauma from behind that we don't know anything about. So you really got to heal yourself and deal with yourself.
And how do we figure those things out? Like how? Like
therapy. I am an advocate for therapy. And even if your therapy is your counselor, your religious counselor, For me, I'm talking about licensed therapists. There's nothing wrong with going to a therapist, talking to them about your issues, and listening to what what effective ways they have to help you deal with it. They might have something you never thought about to help yourself with your trauma or with whatever issues you're having.
Do
But you
you
got to be
think
receptive to that.
do you think everybody should go through therapy at some point in their life?
I don't know about everybody going. All I'm saying is it's okay. If everybody want to go ahead. Let's break that stigma and release the stigma of only crazy people go to therapists. First of all, crazy people are forced to go to therapists. They ain't going on their own.
Hmm.
But there's nothing wrong with you realizing you need a little help. That's all therapy is. Therapy is help like everything else. I got a mechanic,
I
I
agree with
got a
that.
therapist. I have the things that I need help with. I got some masterful, skilled person to help me with it. I don't know anything about cars except my door's open and I need to get an oil change every now and then.
I agree with that.
I got a mechanic. He can help me out with all of those things. Therapists help me deal with feelings that surface that I didn't even know were hanging around. I thought they were, I dealt with these situations well. I was done with this already. Whatever trauma I have or hurt I have, I thought I was done with it, but it resurfaces. It comes up again when you're in a situation that you felt that way. Then here we go. Now here we go with the fight you're talking about. Now you making me feel like I felt when I was a child, or if I was constrained in any way. So now you about to catch all of that. I'm going to be yelling at you and projecting all those feelings on you.
Hmm.
Do you stay with that person though when they do things like that to you?
I'm gonna say it really depends. It really depends. Everybody is different, right? Everybody is really different, and I think what makes a person want to stay with a person is all built upon their insecurities and their securities. If you are secure with yourself, then it's not a lot of things that's going to phase you. You know what I'm saying? And you'll have a greater understanding of people. I'm a very secure person. I'm just speaking on me for myself. So there's not a lot of things that I've dealt with a lot in my life. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I dealt with some of the biggest challenges, like I was just speaking of with men when I was playing sports not believing in me, and so I felt like those was the biggest challenges that I can deal with. And me being in mental health, having a great background, I have a greater understanding of people too as well. So I know how that works. Now, I can't say the same about everybody else because I can't admit that in relationships I have said things when I was angry that I was told that you can't take those back. And
You
it's
can't. You can't take words
and that
back.
and that's probably but that's been hard for me. That's hard for me to accept that because my ideology of it is that we shouldn't be fighting at all. But the fact of the matter is people are going to be fighting. And how can one minimize the damage in an argument in a fight when it do come? I mean, because what's realistically, we not gonna not fight. Realistically, we can be good when things is good, but how do we manage things when things are bad? And those are some of the things that I'm still working on today with, having a better understanding of how to control certain situations when it's out my hand. And one of the things I picked up on is that I lose control over um, fights and arguments when I get hurt in an argument. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
most people. That's people are arguing with you because they are hurt. Underneath all that anger and anxiety is hurt. That's all that is when people lashing out at you like that because they're hurt some way or another. Not necessarily that you did it,
Hmm.
but they're feeling that way and you're reminding them of those feelings. So then let's roll it back a little to the change. So we're talking about changing people. I want you to change that you be hollering at me like that. What's wrong with asking you to change the way you're treating me? You're not treating me well when you act like that. You're not treating me well when you go back in your mind to this trauma and you lash out at me and I ain't even said nothing to you really. I
Hmm.
want you to change that. Those are the changes that are quite all right with me. You can change. It's okay to change to be a better person for you. I think that's where people miss it.
Uh-huh.
Like, I want you to change for me because I want you to treat me better. I want you to treat me the way I ask you. But really, the change should be for you. I'll speak on me. I don't want to be the person yelling at folks all the time because I misperceive what they said. I
Mhm.
don't want to be the person losing control and blowing my top because I could do that. I'm with you. When you're secure with who you are, you have less of those problems. You understand people a little better. But boy, it's some stuff that get under my skin and I get PISSED. But I
Mm.
don't want to be acting like that all the time. I don't want people to perceive me like that all the time. And folks have come to me and told me that, you getting all upset for nothing and you just screaming and yelling for nothing. And I had to sit back and think about it. Maybe I am screaming and yelling for nothing. Or here's the better part. Folks have come to me and said, "Yeah, you looked threatening. You looked like
Oh,
you
I
were
got
getting
that a
ready."
lot.
But I wasn't. That's the part I'm talking about.
Well,
I
maybe
wasn't.
you felt like you wasn't. You maybe felt like you wasn't, and I'm a testament to this. And we've been in each other's space in that way. You know what I'm saying? I've always looked at you as a strong person.
Thank
Now, but you got to understand what come with strong people. You know what I'm saying? Strong people are threatened by they real. You know what I'm saying? You was never a soft woman. We worked on a site floor with patients that was knocking
you.
staff
Where's
out.
my
You
feminine
had
side?
a lot of feminine women, and you was not really one of those. You know what I'm saying?
Wait,
You
what you talking
I'm
about when you
talking to,
say that?
when I say that, like you wasn't scared. Like you wasn't when things happen, you didn't go sit in a corner and be like, "Oh my God, what is gonna happen?" No, you wasn't that person. You was like, "Okay, what they acting up? Okay, let's get these shots ready. Let's get these straps ready. Get the quiet room ready. Come on, y'all do y'all part. I'm gonna do my part."
So that's leadership at work.
That's that's
That's
that that
leadership at work.
that is leadership. But to a whole genre of people, that's not leadership. They look at you as a threat. Unfortunately, same thing with me. My job was to protect the milieu and protect everybody. But at the end of the day, when I was being normal, people said I was a threat and said I'm aggressive and that I
Right.
dominate. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, do you know what we deal with and how we got to deal with it? Like, I ain't pushing nobody over or telling people they can't stop or nothing like that. No, I am a personality. I am a leader. You know what I'm saying? We've seen that in our environment. And a lot of people is not receptive to that. And it's like learning how to be another version of yourself for someone that you love.
Well, when you're talking about like the how people feel threatened by who you are or your success or whatever, and it's not even the success, it's
Mhm.
really something about you that reminds them of some things about them.
And, and
Maybe
I know
you're
what
where
that
they want
is.
to be.
Yeah, it's something more of that. It's more so like me and you is a testament to like what we want, we gonna go get, we gonna work hard for it, and we gonna do whatever it takes to do that. Everybody don't got that. Everybody don't got that. So me, when I'm related to basketball, when I played basketball, I didn't care what it took for me to get on the team. If he told us we had to be at 5 a.m. practice, I was there. I didn't have no limitations like I don't want to get up in the morning or like why we got to come out here in the cold because I wanted it so bad. I was there. People see people like that as a threat because they don't have that. You know what I'm saying? And so now what we doing as we get older and what I've learned to do is that I have to build my tribe around like-minded people.
That's right.
I can't no longer think that my vision is the way of the masses. That's not the case no more. That I'm a hurt myself because when people don't see things, when people tell me I need to dummy it down, or if a friend tell me I need to just accept certain things in a relationship because women gonna be women and men gonna be men, that hurts me.
Mhm.
And what I have to do at that point is I have to realign what my circle look like. So now my circle is looking different now, you know? It's around people that doing the same things that I'm doing, moving the same way that I am, and we are all doing it for a greater purpose. A whole greater purpose, healthier souls. If they not on the same alignment, then guess what? I still love them, but I gotta love them from a distance.
So let me tell you something about the strength you were discussing. I don't want people to think for one second that being strong means you're not afraid. A lot of times with those patients, some of them patients scared me, but we still had to do the work that needed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important and essential thing is what you just said about the circle. So I knew when we were dealing with a very aggressive patient that I had you guys back there. I was like, okay, these guys here with me, it's gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I got my part, they doing their part. Everybody is skilled and knowledgeable. We know what to do. I had the support that brings me through my fear, the support that brings me through being scared. Being strong to me, my definition, it means you're walking through that. You're still walking through your own fears. You're walking through your own darkness because you know it's a light on the end of the tunnel.
And everybody don't got that. In relationships, at work, in friendships, or whatever the case might be, people will stay in a relationship because they don't see that light at the end of the tunnel, and they think like this is the only person that I can be with. So they gonna stay there, even though that they not happy. Even at work, people are scared to branch off and um, do something better in themselves because they think that it's nothing else out there. I was pushed. Listen. I'm blessed for certain people at the job that we was at. Our superior that was there when you was there, I told him this when I've seen him 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? And if he watching this, he know who he is.
I know who he is.
I told him. I came back and told him you made me.
You told him that?
I did. I say I appreciate you because you pushed me to you showed me that this wasn't everything. Because at one point when I was working on milieus, I did think I was comfortable. And that's something even
Mm,
in the religious realm that the pastor and religious folks talk about. Is about not being comfortable and being receptive to change in all aspects of the game. And me, I was very comfortable. I mean, I was doing whatever I wanted to. I was working all overtime. I was single. I was able to mingle as much as I want to. And I say God sent somebody my way to make me uncomfortable. And when he did that, I went back to school. I gave up on all of the shenanigans that I was doing, and I was striving for greatness. And that same person who at one point told others that he hated me and that he
that he
wanted to
hated
see,
you.
he said that he hated me and that he ain't want me there. That same person came back and told me, like, you don't deserve to be here. You one of the greatest gifts here. I don't understand why you was here.
Oh, well,
But the
we talking about
pastor,
two different people. I don't know who you
we
talking about
talking about
then.
that person.
We must
We
be
are
talking about somebody
talking
different.
about that person.
Really?
I swear to God.
That's a true testament though, when somebody knows that they've done something wrong to you or you felt like well, we know,
Uh-huh.
and they come back to
He came back.
you and say,
He gave me a higher position there.
all right then,
He made
full
me
circle.
he made me the CPI trainer that I was. I didn't get that from nobody but him. And this was the person that put me in a corner at one time and said, sit down. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they talk about in church. That's what God says. Like in leadership, you have to accept leadership. And leadership don't necessarily mean that it's going to be always positive. You know what I'm saying? You got to sometimes sit there when the flames is high and like, okay, well, we're gonna wait for God to come and tell us when we got to make our move. You know what I'm saying? And I did that. I was walked through that. And see, those testimonies that let me know like the path that I'm walking on is the path that I need to continue to walk on. You know what I'm saying? Continue to build, continue to focus on our people, continue to work with the heart to love and put the best energy out there in the world now.
I love that. That is wonderful. I love that. Love it very, very much. That's a true testament and good information for resolution and things to do to help. We can always constantly bring up the problems, the complaints, the concerns, but where's the solutions? Where are the
Mm-hmm.
resolutions? Where are the things that you can tell me that can help me get myself out of this? And one of a quote about this leadership you're talking about from one of my favorite shows, Game of Thrones, one of my favorite shows. He was talking to the young king and he told him, he was like, all these people talking and I ain't really trying to hear these people. Good leaders listen even when they don't want to, and you listen to everybody. That's what you have to do. That's part
Mm-hmm.
of being a good leader. You have to take that aspect though, because I learned that in church. I learned it from my mother. I learned it more working because when you're a child at home, you just, kind of do what people tell you, even though I wasn't that kid. But I learned at work that you do have to listen, regardless whether you want to listen or not. And
Hmm.
you need to listen, not just hear. You might be somebody I don't even like, but you're under my tutelage. If I'm your supervisor, your director, your manager, you're somebody that deserves my 100. Even though I might not be fond of the person that you are, I can't hold that against you if I'm your leader. I still got to give you
Hmm.
my best. We got to take that home. And a lot of people, fortunately, were brought up with that. They can bring it with them. But if we could take that same attribute to the home, for me, when people are yelling and screaming, I can't sit back and look beyond the behavior.
Okay.
If I know what's going on, like, okay, this boy got court tomorrow. That's why he acting like that.
Oh, we was really good at that. I mean, that was the great part about the job is that we had got so advanced of understanding what our mission and our title was and doing the work that we was able to predict certain things way before it happened. That's a real that was amazing when we was able to do that. When we was able to see these clients that was struggling, we was able to read their charts and understand what they was going through and utilize that as a tool to help keep the client safe. We can jump right on in on that made me feel like I was doing real work there when I was doing
So
that.
why we can't take that same thing, those same attributes, same behavior, same critical thinking into your intimate relationships, into your friendships? But since we're talking about intimate relationships, you see how easy you talked about it when we're talking about work, how easy I talk about it when we're talking about work.
Hmm.
Why can't we do that same thing with people that are much more personal to us?
So let's before I answer that, let's go back to the work situation real quick, and I'm gonna make a quick tie to that real quick. The people that didn't want to work and lied and said they was working, we knew that they didn't want to work, right?
We did.
We knew them people that the people that was there to get paid, right?
We knew who they
We
were.
knew who those people were. It's the same thing in a relationship. In a relationship, if you don't give the truth about every single thing that you are wanting and expecting out of the partner, these issues is going to happen. And most of the time, what's going on is that the transparency is off, and what people was wanting in the relationship is completely off, and they just start moving in the manner of the relationship. I feel like that was some of the failures of what I dealt with in relationships. I felt like the women that I dealt with, they felt differently and they didn't express that, but they still moved in a manner with me because they felt like, oh, I was a good guy and I did what I was supposed to do. But their vision changed, but didn't give me the opportunity to make the decision on how we can either disperse or work on what we got. But they kept building. When you do that, you building up defense. You know what I'm saying? You build up defense. You keep building a different layer of defense that is going to turn until an explosion. And I think the lines of the change that we talking about in a relationship, it needs to always be addressed properly, and it got to be truthful with it. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell a person that you want to be here, but you don't really want to be here. Why do that? Why don't you give? Why the transparency can't be in play? Like, hey, I think that I want something else, and let's work on us dispersing and you going your separate way or me going my separate way. Why we can't do that?
Because
Because
first of
no relationships
all,
is nobody doing it.
people don't talk like that.
But
That's
why
why
not though? But why
nobody
not?
talking like that.
But that's the problem.
Nobody's
Why not?
saying that.
People
First of
feel that
all,
way
first of
and
all,
acting that way.
Dex, you're gonna get smacked telling
Ugh.
somebody, "Ah, you know, I just I want something different. No, that ain't how you do it.
No, if you
That's
don't
not
want
how
to
you
be
do.
there, then
That's not
why
how
be
you
there?
do it.
Because what happens is when you there and you don't want to be there, now when they pan sear your salmon a little bit too long, see what happened. Like, I don't like
Then
damn
they're
you.
gonna be
You
blowing up
mad?
at
You
you.
mad because I cooked your food a little bit too long? Now we arguing about that, but in your heart, it's because you don't want to be here. So why you can't be man or woman enough to say when you don't want to be here? Why you can't be man or woman enough to leave when you know that your feelings have changed? When you know it, we speaking on the people that know that their feelings have changed. Those people still uh, select to be in the relationships they in, and they are downhill. It's no hope for nobody in no relationship that when one person don't want to be there. You can do everything right in a relationship, and it can still be wrong to the person that you ain't supposed to be with.
Well, I agree with you there that you can be doing everything right. And when people don't really want to be with you or they
It don't
don't
matter.
respect you,
It don't
it's
matter.
not going to make a
It don't
difference.
matter.
It won't make a
They're gonna
difference
have a problem with everything you got.
in everything you do. But you got to look at that then. Why do people do that? One of the reasons we already said that you've put so much time in it. If I've put so much time in this, I ain't trying to go back out there and start over. I done been here 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, however long it's been. I'm not trying to go back out there and start over.
But what happens though?
I go back out and start over.
You
But you talking
saying what
about
you don't want,
me. It ain't
but
that
no,
hard
this
for
is
me,
what
Dexter.
that's everybody. That's the motive with everybody. Everybody be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Where they at? They like certain qualities in a person, but they want to veer and see what else is out there, and don't be transparent. And all happens is that it end bad. It end bad. It don't have to end bad though. That's the thing with the transparency. If it can be like this, hey, and you laughed at it. It can be like, hey, I ain't really feeling this. I mean, I think we worked at it as much as I can, but I want other options. Let's make a plan for us to disperse. You know what I'm saying? I know we live together in 6 months or 3 months or something like that, and disperse things the right way so we can go. Why we can't have more of that? Why I gotta be, oh, this ain't what I want to be. So I'm finna nitpick about every single thing and then make this person get upset and do something crazy and walk out and do all this and then a fight erupted and they left.
Because it's easy. That's easy. That's why it's that way. It's easy to blow up and walk out. Your problem is solved. We ain't got to have this uncomfortable conversation. I'm
But
gone.
but now
Deuces.
but
It's
now you
easy to
not
do that.
now you can't be friends with this person. You can't rely on this person when you know this is a person that you loved and cared about in a certain way, and they had amazing qualities. But now you didn't just do all that to the dogs because you wanted to exit the way that you wanted to exit, and that's wrong. That's wrong, and that's the love and the fulfilledness that we are missing in the community as a whole, like just not knowing how to deal with people, not knowing how to communicate, our unhealed trauma. All of these things is why people are not successful in their relationships and their marriages right now.
So, all of that is hurt and anger, anxiety. Those are the things that cause you to fight, as you say it. So, for me, first of all, let's find another word to talk about our disagreement. We arguing or we're disagreeing. It don't always got to be a fight, because a fight right there is like you said, somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. And me, I like the knockouts. So that
Hmm.
means what? I'm going to be throwing daggers with my words, throwing daggers with my words. And words hurt. And when people tell you you can't take the word back, that's what they're telling you. You can't take back how you made me feel when you said that, when you called me a bum, when you said I will never amount to nothing, don't nobody want you. You can't take those things back when you say things like that to people. Or you're worthless, you're nothing. You can't take those things back when you say that to
How about
people.
this though? How about when someone says, I don't think this is the best time for us to talk about this, or this is not a conversation I want to have right now? How about respecting that aspect of it?
You right. And let me tell you, I'm a person who didn't do that. I want to talk about it right now, and we're going to talk about it right now. But it doesn't make sense to do that. Because one, you can't make people talk to you when they don't want to. And two, what I've learned, a lot of times when people do that, if somebody say, look, this ain't the time, we got to talk about this tomorrow. That's them taking a walk. Like people tell you when you're angry,
That's
take
me.
a walk, get some
That's me.
air.
That's me.
That's them taking a walk.
That's
So
me.
grant it to them. but that comes with respecting other people, respecting your own self first. If you respect you, you don't have a hard time respecting other people.
Mm-hmm.
If you are, like you said, secure with who you are, you don't have a hard time letting people be who they want to be, because you can make the decision if you're going to keep that person in your space or not.
Mm-hmm.
You behaving like somebody I don't really want to be around you. I'm not going to be around you, and you're not going to be around me. So the respect comes there, that okay, this young man is okay. I can hang around him a little bit longer. So I understand that when you tell me I don't want to talk about this today, I do need to respect that. That could be you getting your thoughts together, you getting your feelings together, you not wanting to explode and say venomous things with your words.
That's still, I mean, and at that point when that is not being receptive, then I think the evaluation of the relationship needs to be talked about, because um I've been in that situation just recently where I've said things that maybe hurt my significant other, but I know in that conversation I said, "Hey, I can't talk about this right now, and I need to, let me go." And it was not allowed. It wasn't granted. It was just I was just forced to do what I had to do. And then at this point now I'm fighting. You know what I'm saying? And at this point, if it gets to this point, I think therapy needs to be one of the biggest things that come into play, or even trying to see if this is the relationship for you, because a person needs to grant you that space. You have to, they have to, no matter how you feel about the situation at that moment, if a person is reaching out and saying, I don't think this is the right time for us to talk about this, that needs to be had.
It needs to be respected, because the way I was looking at it, because I was that person that we gonna talk about it. You just trying to run away from the issue. You just trying to evade this conversation. Even if that is what it is, give that person that
Just give
space.
them the
I have
space.
learned when people are asking me for their space, I'm going to give it to them.
Hmm.
I'm going to allow you to take the time to gather your composure, your senses, or whatever it is you want to do. But that's something I've learned throughout my life. That's something I've learned in the last few years, because I was not that person. I'm the person that, we could squash this right now. We could talk about it all right now and get it out the way, and we don't have to talk about it anymore. But that's naivete. Things don't work like that. It
And
ain't
that's the
like
fun
you're going
part
to
about
talk
life.
about it now
I think that's
anyway.
the great part about life, is that we all get another chance to start over. You know what I'm saying? And, in my new journey, like, I just want to be very mindful of, like, what I say, how I do it, and not even, seeing if I'm putting the right energy out there in the first place, because a lot of people are not receptive to a lot of the things that I'm doing. I have to meet someone that's on the same playing field with me. You know what I'm saying? The exact same playing field. You can't, I can't reach for nobody no more. That ain't gonna work. I have to meet someone that is ready to move in my vision, because I've been called to do what I'm gonna do. And if you believe in that, you're gonna see what I'm doing, and you're gonna help support that. And you're not gonna hurt that. And then that's where the trust and the balance comes in, that in the relationship.
Those are very, very good and healthy points. I think everybody needs that. You need to be with someone that supports you, who understands who you are and where you're going and who you're going to be, and that they don't feel threatened by it, that they want to help you succeed, and they're just doing whatever they need to do to make that walk with you. So I think everybody's goal is to find that.
That's that
Everybody's
equally
goal
yoked.
is to have
That's that
that.
equally yoked piece. You know what I'm saying? And understanding that having some things doesn't make you equally yoked. You know, being able to help out with my kid is not equally yoked. Being a great sex partner don't make you equally yoked.
It
You
don't.
making a lot of money
It
doesn't
don't.
make us equally yoked.
Those
No,
are some good things, though. Them last two
those are
things you
those are
just
good
said.
things, but those don't make you equally yoked. You know what I'm saying? Some of the biggest a-holes in the world are guys that got a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? And some of the women that are the greatest sex partners are the most conniving women that's out here. So those it can't be driven off none of that. You know what I'm saying?
So it's character. You're still talking about
I'm
character
talking about some
and those
actions.
attributes.
Actions is the biggest thing. What you everything that you show is gonna is If you can act as if you the greatest thing for me and you still fail me, I'm gonna take that L. I'm gonna take that L because actions speak louder than words. What you do, how you move, and what you build for, and how you believe in a person, it shows. Talking to a person and saying stuff that's temporary. That can be changed. People tell people all the time they'll love them and turn right around and shoot them in the head. You know what I'm saying? So like it's the actions, and meeting people that they actions are very intentional with what your vision is. And first of all, with men, and I'm speaking as men, you got to have that vision because majority of these women out here, they want a man with a plan. They want to feel secure. And if you don't have that quality of making a woman secure, then you are going to struggle in a relationship. You are. And that's just something that you gotta have. Just like a woman has to be a nurturer, right? That's something that she has to be able to, what I'm saying, provide in a relationship, or that's going to be a turn off for a man.
It's good to talk to men and people about these different perspectives because I know some women that don't feel like they have to be nurturers. But if that's what you want, that's the kind of woman you should get. I'm all for that. Get the kind of woman you want. Don't try to mold me into the woman you want. Go get her. You can let me go. You can let me be. Because I'm very secure with the woman I am, and this is the woman I want to be.
Same
And I
thing for the
got
man.
plenty of attributes to give. I got plenty to give. If I'm not what you want, this is where the don't be lying to me that you want me and you don't. Don't be making promises to me that you don't keep. But more importantly, I hold myself responsible and accountable for the space that I am in and for anybody else who I let in my space and for whose space I'm standing in. I can tell that you ain't trying to be with me seriously. And this is with anything, even with your friendships. I can tell. I don't have to stay in that space like that. I hold myself accountable more than, oh, you lied to me. That's why this didn't work out. No, you knew he was lying and you stayed. What you stayed for? I have to hold myself accountable for certain things like that.
Question: are you willing to change for the person that you love and you want to be with?
I don't know. I don't know about all that. I mean, that's a
Not
good.
everything.
That's
Hold
a
on.
good
I ain't
question.
saying change
I don't know
everything,
about
right?
all that,
I ain't
Dexter.
saying I ain't saying change everything. But if you feel like you got a great quality man, like you done dated this man for 6 months and you don't go to church and he like, hey, I want my woman to go to church for me. Is that something that you can
I think
compromise?
those things should be talked about. Like I go to church, that should be in the forefront. Is it going to bother you that, I'm a Muslim and you a Christian? Those are things that need to be talked about. That you could talk about up front. I don't
Okay.
want to hear about your exes, but we can talk about that up front. Religion, do we believe in God? Do we believe in going to church?
How about
Those are the things we should talk
how about
about.
this? What if 6 months in I say, hey, why don't you hit that gym a little bit with me? You know what I'm saying? Get your weight down a little bit.
Never do that, okay? And there's no man out there gonna tell you that's something you should be saying to a woman. Never do that. What you can do is what you
Is
just said. You go to the gym. Let her see you going to the gym.
do I ask you like, hey,
You can ask, hey, you want to join me? I got let's go running together. Let's do this together. You could do that, but don't ever say, come to the gym with
do
me to
you
get that
are
weight
you are
down.
you subjective to that change though?
Something like that is minor to me.
What
What
is big then? So because you that was
big
kind of
is
vague.
big is religion. Big is how you're going to run your household. Big is how do we want to raise our children. Big is what is your definition of loyalty and respect to me. Big is what is it you want me to do for you if we together. And let me tell you what I want you to do for me if we're together. But we're going to run into the solutions we went over. For me, I said therapy. People need therapy, and it's okay. It's wonderful. You got to think about your mental health just like you think about your physical health. Just like you go to your doctor once a year to make sure you're okay or twice a year. There's nothing wrong with going to a counselor or a therapist if you got some emotional things going on that you think you need help with. No, nothing wrong with it at all. Let me emphasize that. Transparency is something you said we should be doing right away. You say do it immediate
Did
up
we
front.
did we handle that? Because I think we was in the middle of that.
Well,
Because
you said do it in the
I
beginning.
think it needs to be. I think when it comes across at any point, And I think if you show interest, if you are interested in a person, you need to be transparent with them.
I didn't say you don't need to be. I'm just saying there's a
Don't need
period
to
of
know everything.
time where you tell them certain things about you. That's how I feel about it. But we both feel transparency, communication. Did we miss anything? For
No,
resolution. We don't want to just leave with problems and complaints.
no, no,
Did we
no,
miss
no.
anything for
I don't.
resolution?
I don't think we did. I think we left off at a good note.
Okay, I'm with you. We left off at a good note. Remember, people, be be transparent with yourself. That's the best medicine for any and everything in my book. I we're gonna wrap it up. I want to thank you all for joining us. Please continue to watch us. This is IntellectualRadio.com. Go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. In July, my friend, my co-host Ria Ray Harris will be sitting in this seat with her guest. We need to thank our producers, Earl Winfrey, Wanda B. Thank you all for the opportunity. And I want you all to watch the Quintessential Queens every Sunday at 3. Thank you.
One time, for the babies on the south side, the east side.